My bad. 32-0 with 22 knockouts. It is August the 15th, 2015, and ladies and gentlemen, I cover boxing. And if you do not know, one of the biggest fights of the summer, Shawn Showtime Porter, 24-0 and 1 with 15 knockouts. The IBF 147-pound champion has weighed in at 146 3/4 pounds. He had the strip completely nude, and he seems confident. Now, if you don't know, I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. Kell, the special one, is his alias, Special K for Special Kell. Kell Brook, 32-0 with 22 knockouts, has been the IBF 147-pound contender for what? 22 months? 22 months, to the point where it was Mike Jones, Randall Bailey had the belt, Devin Alexander beat Randall Bailey, Devin Alexander fought who? I forgot. But long story short, he fought afterwards. He was supposed to fight Amir Khan. He fought Shawn Porter, lost to Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter goes and fight Paulie Malignaggi. And you ask, and remember, I'm saying Kell Brook has been the #1 contender this whole time. Now, before, it was being said that he wasn't ready. He was fighting on a domestic level. That means he's fighting overseas in his home, fighting in Europe, the UK. But fighting over there, the credible competition is just not there. You got a guy by the name of Voyaslav Sachenko that fought Ricky Hatton. Actually, the last fight Ricky fought after he came back and then retired because he got put down by a body shot. You got him fighting a guy by the name of Alvaro Robles back in March as somewhat of a tune-up fight, but he's had fights like this. The only credible fights that you can look at on his career is he had 2 fights with this guy named Carson Jones, where he was supposed to clearly and clean-cut beat Carson Jones. But that one fight, that first fight, put Kell Brook's career, it put a question mark behind it, because it was stamina that was missing, and later on in the fight, and just the IQ. It was something missing in that fight. Now, when the second fight came around, the rematch, he avenged his loss. But now, looking at going up against a guy like Shawn Porter, who basically, in his last 2 fights, Devin Alexander and Paulie Malignaggi, he just went and just obliterated them, like Mike Tyson style, except he didn't knock Devin Alexander out, but he did beat him up pretty bad, pretty bad. So, you got the 2 guys weighing in today. I cover every single weigh-in of every single major fight. And what I'm saying is that at one point in time, Shawn Porter, his first fight, according to BoxRec, he weighed in at 165 pounds. He's about 5'6". He used to play football when he was younger, and he's got that American football player look, like a linebacker. He looks a lot bigger than what he is, but it's because he's short in that smaller package pause. So, in the ring, you have to ask yourself, how much did this guy rehydrate up to? So he weighs in at 146 3/4 pounds today, butt naked. There's been questions in his camp. I'm not saying, now listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying the guy is juicing, but with the amount of videos I do and what I cover, I got to pay attention to the fact that, why has been all this bullshit going on with the drug testing? That should have been the first thing taken care of. A guy like Shawn Porter should have taken care of that from the beginning. You got an interview with Kell Brook, the guy he's fighting, an interview from IFL TV, Coogan Cassius, where they're talking about Kell Brook, was talking about how he didn't know what was going on with the drug testing. And if I'm correct, that interview was less than 3 weeks old. So basically what I'm saying is, I believe they just started testing within this last month, or a little bit over a month. So for a major fight like this, shouldn't have been testing, as soon as the fight was signed. But if there was a lot of controversy with the fight on what date it was going to be, and it was very, very close to going to a purse bid. But still, I'm not saying that they're not using drug testing. If you want to know, they're using UCLA drug testing. I'm going to do some more research so I can have information after the fight. See, what I do is immediately after the fight, I do a post-fight video, live, uncut, and then about an hour later, I do something called Google Hangout. So what Google Hangout is going to be me right here live streaming. I got a little command center right here in front of me, and basically, we're going to talk about boxing for an hour, live streaming. You can interact. It's going to be a little link right there where you'll have to subscribe, and then once you click that link, you'll be right there live streaming. So I'm going to do a lot of research on the UCLA drug testing, because fans are asking, well, why not WADA, why not VADA, why not USADA, and why UCLA, and why so late, So in this day and age, like I said, you got to stay away, from steroid rumors. But what I'm trying to say, what I'm going to say now is, Kell Brook is in a situation where he's over here, he's in California, he's in the bright lights, him and his big-time promoter, Eddie Hearn, coming from the UK, coming over here to try to take Shawn Porter's belt on the big stage. This is a very big fight, on the big stage. But if he loses, he goes back to the UK, and then what? What happens if he loses? People are always going to say, well, look, that's because he was fighting bullshit guys with bullshit records. Aren't they going to say that? That's what they're going to say. So if Kell Brook goes home 32-1 with 22 knockouts, and then if he gets knocked out, what is he going to fight? What is he going to do? Amir Khan's just been trashing him in the media. If Kell Brook gets that 147-pound title, I'm going to rate him right there with Amir Khan, because I don't think Amir Khan won any parts of Kell Brook. Won any parts of Shawn Porter. You think Kell Brook? You think Amir Khan wants to go through that with Shawn Porter? All that pushing and holding that Amir Khan do. He's good, but right now, Kell Brook is in a situation where he can show fans and boxing fans, American boxing fans, while Shawn Porter's name is hot right now, and American boxing fans, psyches and minds. Kell Brook, if he beats him, he gets that market, kind of like when Adrian Broner lost to Marcos Maidana, and he gained all those Adrian Broner fans. If you get what I'm saying, if you're following the marketing of it. So he can turn into an international superstar, a budding international superstar, which can open up fights with Amir Khan and with all those Heyman fighters. Why? Because he's with Matchroom Boxing, and it's promoted Eddie Hearn. So there's no problems with putting together fights as far as politics is concerned. So, there's a lot to be desired, but like I said, I'm T-Street Controversy. I cover every single major fight live. 146 3/4 for Shawn Porter. He had to get butt naked. And then you got 146.5 for Kell Brook. He looked cool. People thought he was going to look all scared and everything like that. He's saying he's going to knock Shawn Porter out. But I'm saying, listen, there can be an upset. If this guy that they call a special one shows up, because Kell Brook, he is a good boxer. I'm talking about along the lines of having the fundamentals of like Amir Khan, of like pure boxers like a Timothy Bradley, guys like that, guys that can move, guys that have punch variety, even if they don't have the knockout power. But this guy's got 22 knockouts. But you got to ask yourself, well, where do you rate on Deontay Wilder's 31 wins and 31 knockouts, 2-1? Who's fighting on the same card, by the way? Kell Brook's 32 wins and 22 knockouts. So, regardless of the fact, 22 knockouts is still impressive. Shawn Porter has 15, and really, basically, the major one is the Paulie Malignaggi, the way he put him down. But this is T-Street Controversy, T-Street Controversy Live. Subscribe.